Coming up on CBS 7 News at 10, a community coming together to combat a major issue of littering and illegal dumping. Find out what they did this morning to do just that straight ahead. Plus, a live look outside. Showers, thunderstorms rumbled through earlier this evening, cooling us off. That time-lapse image showing the rain moving over the western parts of Odessa. We'll see what you can expect overnight coming up. And History Unboxed. Find out what artifacts were unboxed in the CBS 7 studio that holds special meaning to sports fans in the area. This is CBS 7 News at 10 Weekend.
Now, live with newsrooms in Midland and Odessa, this is CBS 7 News at 10.
And good evening. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll start off with weather. Showers and thunderstorms rolled into parts of the area earlier this evening. Meteorologist Joseph Neubauer joins us now from the CBS 7 Weather Center. Joseph, how much rain actually fell tonight?
Well, we got a lot of rain in and around Odessa. Really the big winners even out towards Wink and Kermit. I'll go ahead and go to that rainfall graphic for us. A lot of rain, like I said, for the western parts of the basin. Taking a look outside there, you can see about an inch of rain has fallen in Odessa. Western parts of Odessa seeing 1.3 inches. Goldsmith, which is in the northwestern parts of Ector County, seeing 1.8 inches. In Kermit, almost 2 inches there for the parts of Wink. And yeah, going back to that live cam there, looking west over Odessa, seeing the thunderstorms roll in this evening for us out toward the west. Absolutely beautiful, seeing the dust blowing in and the heavy rain falling. Going to that radar right now, a lot of those showers really just kind of dying off right now, though that flood warning still goes until 11:15 p.m. for Ector County. Midland, though, getting in on the action finally. A few strikes of lightning, but otherwise most big activity is going to be well off towards the south in and around Crane and McCain, and towards the Trans-Pecos there in and around Marathon.
Joseph, thank you. New at 10, as the population of the Permian Basin continues to grow, so does the amount of littering and illegal dumping. Well, this morning, one local community took a stand against that. Our Jacob Brandenburg was in Pleasant Farms bright and early and tells us how they are keeping Pleasant Farms beautiful.
It is not uncommon to see trash on the side of the road in our area. Residents in the community of Pleasant Farms have grown tired of driving by that garbage every day, so this morning they got together to clean it up.
We decided we can do something to make a difference. The trash is always going to be in West Texas. Some people think it's not that pretty of a part of the country, and I grew up here. I like Odessa. I like West Texas. I just would like to keep it clean.
Keep Odessa Beautiful donated bags and gloves for the volunteers to use. The South Odessa Volunteer Fire Department also got involved, picking up full trash bags and cooking lunch for people who came to help out.
It shows that people want to take care of the area, take care of their homes, take care of the place. It's a good thing to see the community wanting to get together and do a trash cleanup like this.
There were approximately 30 volunteers this morning. They believe that if other communities got involved, our area would be that much better.
I'd like for the entire city of Odessa and even Midland get involved and do something like this. Join in and pick up some trash instead of just driving by.
The people of Pleasant Farms have already scheduled another cleanup day for Saturday, October 6th. Jacob Brandenburg, CBS 7 News.
Continuing coverage on an arrest of a former West Odessa volunteer fire department chief and his wife. CBS 7's Haley Harrison found out yesterday how Sherry Ellis was involved with the department.
According to the grand jury indictment, Jimmy Ellis and Sherry Ellis stand accused of stealing from the volunteer department president, Michael Lipsey. Both are charged with theft of property over $150,000, but less than $300,000. Sherry was the secretary and treasurer of the department, while Jimmy was the former chief. They were arrested on Wednesday and both bonded out of jail after a few hours. In Odessa, Haley Harrison, CBS 7 News.
Haley, thank you very much. Meanwhile, the name of the woman killed in an accidental shooting in West Odessa has been released. According to the sheriff's office, 33-year-old Miranda Fawcett died from a gunshot wound to the back. Her body will be sent off to Tarrant County for an autopsy. Authorities believe this was an accidental shooting. No charges have been filed as of now. The sheriff's office will continue their investigation. New tonight, as we know, this area is steeped in history, but a lot of the time our history is lost from the boom and bust cycle, people coming in and then leaving, taking with it historic artifacts, that is. But one piece of history has been unearthed and managed to stay right here in the basin. Look at this, a box full of memorabilia, signed baseballs, and many more artifacts was found and brought to Associate Professor Chris Stanley of UT Permian Basin. And it's no secret that everyone at the station, when he brought it here, was so interested in seeing what this box holds. The Oilers were a minor league team here in the basin decades ago. We caught up with Chris Stanley, who says this is truly a hidden gem unearthed.
One of the wonderful things about having an archive, having a library, and caring about your city's history is that you have access to these things. And we're starting to find out where all these artifacts are in the city.
Stanley also tells us that these artifacts will now be taken to UTPB, where they will be used in a sports history class, showing students how to care and achieve these, and archive that is, these pieces of history. The largest annual event in the basin is officially underway. The Permian Basin Fair and Exposition, 10 Days of Magic, is happening right now at the Extra County Coliseum. The 43rd annual event kicked off yesterday and will continue on until tomorrow, September 9th, until next Sunday, I should say, on September the 9th. Now, if you still haven't made it out today, you've still got a bit of time left. The fair will be open until midnight tonight. Live entertainment, great food, carnival rides, a petting zoo, art exhibits, and demonstrations are just a few of the things you can look forward to at this year's event. Some good music, as you can see at the fair. Tonight, the trials took the stage just a few minutes ago at 10. Tomorrow night, though, you can look forward to Grupo Sabor y Ritmo again at 10. They do it all from cumbia to reggaeton to country oldies and norteño and tejano music. Now, if you're looking to join in on the fun, tickets for adults are $10 each. Seniors, 55 and over, as well as kids from ages 4 to 12 are $8 a piece. Children under the age of 3 or 5. Carnival armbands are $25, and parking, of course, is free at the Coliseum. Meanwhile, U.S. Representative Mike Conaway stopped by the CBS 7 studio yesterday while on a congressional break in D.C. before the Labor Day weekend. Now, during his tour, we asked him a couple of issues that many would like to hear his take on. One of those was the Andrew Nuclear Waste Facility and the upgrade they're looking to have.
If we were to be able to get that, and if we were able to get the permits, if we were able to convince folks that we can transport nuclear waste safely, then that would be a site that would make sense. The French have been moving nuclear waste around their country for decades, and you've not had one instance.
Conaway is currently back home for the Labor Day weekend as he comes home to his family. International news, Senator John McCain was honored today with words of kindness and heartfelt tributes during a national memorial service in Washington. McCain died last week of brain cancer. Nicole Killian reports from Washington on this.
Thousands bid farewell to America's maverick, Senator John Sidney McCain III, at the National Cathedral in Washington. President George W. Bush praised McCain's character and values.
Perhaps above all, John detested the abuse of power, could not abide bigots and swaggering despots. There was something deep inside him that made him stand up for the little guy.
President Barack Obama, who defeated McCain in the 2008 presidential election, reflected on the Arizona senator's love of country.
He was willing to buck his own party at times, occasionally work across the aisle on campaign finance reform and immigration reform.
Even though Senator McCain's funeral drew leaders from both sides of the aisle, at times it turned political with veiled criticism of President Trump, who wasn't invited.
The America of John McCain has no need to be made great again because America was always great.
The service weaved together themes that captured McCain's life, military sacrifice, and legacy. Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, who met McCain after he was released as a prisoner of war in Vietnam, says McCain was a gift of destiny.
The world will be lonelier without John McCain.
Senator McCain will be buried during a private service on Sunday next to his best friend at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
Still ahead here on CBS 7 News at 10 weekend, we'll rejoin meteorologist Joseph Neubauer with a look at when more rain could be on the way, plus your full CBS 7 forecast. Plus, grand families are becoming all too common across the United States because of the opioid epidemic. Find out how grandma and grandpa are stepping in to parent next. And do you want to live longer? We'll tell you how it's way easier than you could ever imagine, according to one study. Those stories coming up. You're watching CBS 7 News at 10.
Cedric the Entertainer and Max Greenfield star in the Neighborhood, premiering Mondays this fall on CBS.
Now, from the Breaking News and Weather Authority, here's meteorologist Joseph Neubauer with your CBS 7 forecast.
Well, a good Saturday evening for us. A lot of rain for us coming up, but September is actually our wettest month, if you can believe it. Taking a look at the graphic there, you see 1.86 is how much rain we're supposed to get here in September. This is for Midland International. That makes it our wettest month. So starting off September with some rainy conditions out there, and for the next few days, going to continue to see the rain. Looking at current temperatures, though, for us, cooling off quite a bit with that rainfall coming from the west, continuing to push off towards the east, seeing 70 degrees there. Midland 66 there in Amarillo. In front of that, though, seeing 80s all the way towards Dallas, 87 degrees there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so a lot warmer off towards the west. Going to that radar, too, we are seeing some thunderstorms still in and around the area for us, so let's go ahead and take a look at that radar. That flood warning still for Ector County till 11:15 p.m. That goes for Goldsmith, Odessa, and West Odessa. Now let's take a look at Midland for us. So a lot of this mess is continuing to push into the Midland area, which is good for them. They really need it. Lenora Stanton also getting in on a few isolated showers. Otherwise, though, looks to be good for the rest of our night. The only real thunderstorm activity where you're seeing a lot of the lightning strikes off towards the south there for Crane County, McCain, and Rankin. Seeing flood advisories for those counties for the next few hours for us. And also, just to the east of Alpine Marathon along Highway 90, 285, kind of in between here for the southern parts of Pecos County and northern parts of Brewster County, seeing a flood advisory. That goes for the next hour. Now, rain totals, everybody wants to know about them. We've seen about an inch there in Odessa, western parts of Odessa, close to 2 inches of rain there in Goldsmith, even more there in the southern parts of Andrews County, maybe around 1/10 of an inch there in Midland. But really, Midland missing out on the bulk of it, you can see. Also there, Kermit and Wink seeing close to 2 inches there. Very isolated for us, and that's going to continue for the next few days as tropical moisture, seeing this disturbance in the Gulf right now, seeing that clockwise flow. This could be our next tropical storm for the east coast of Texas. We're going to keep monitoring this. This could be Tropical Storm Gordon. This is going to move off towards the west, continuing to feed moisture into our area. Also seeing another disturbance. This will help keep the rain chances well into Thursday and into Friday for us, as the high pressure that was bothering us these last few days, that's going to be over the eastern seaboard. You see the clockwise motion. Both of these pieces of moisture are going to hitch a ride, move on towards the west, interact with that upper level low currently sitting over New Mexico. Going to make for some big rain chances for us. So we're really isolated today, but 50% chance, so even more rain for our Sunday afternoon. More Monday, look to be the peak there into Tuesday, and keeping the 40s for our Wednesday, Thursday, and even an isolated shot into our Friday. Looking at Sunday, more isolated for our western counties this time around. We'll call it 30 to 50 for the eastern parts of the county there for Midland and Odessa. Speaking of rain totals, Sunday looks to be a good day for us, maybe trace to 1 inch isolated rainfall, but really the big washout begins Monday into Tuesday for us, seeing the isolated 1 to 3 inches definitely possible. A lot of us, though, only going to be seeing maybe less than 1 inch, maybe a ½ inch of rain realistically over the next few days. Tonight, though, things are going to begin to quiet down, cooling off into the mid-70s for us. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. And there you go. Labor Day, 60% chance. Really filling in the whole work week, keeping those rain chances around, Matthew. And look at those high temperatures. Mid to upper 80s for us, not bad whatsoever. Yeah, looking good.
Joseph, thank you. When we come back, because of the opioid epidemic sweeping America, many grandparents are having to step in for parents in raising kids. Find out how they make it work. You're watching CBS 7 News at 10. New tonight, the nation's opioid epidemic has sent an alarming number of children into foster care system, but the numbers would be even worse if it weren't for grandparents. They're stepping in to raise grandkids while their own children battle substance abuse, and it's not easy. Kenneth Craig takes us to West Virginia, ground zero in the opioid epidemic, to find out how grandparents are all making it work.
Very good.
At 65 and 62 years old, Sharon and Terry Beckett are parents for the second time, raising their 2 grandchildren near Charleston, West Virginia.
You just love them, just like they're your very own. They struggle because they miss their mom and dad sometimes.
Mariah and Elijah were left in their care by their parents, who are battling drug addictions. Their mother has been out of their lives for years, and their father in and out of rehab.
What were you most fearful of in that situation?
That the welfare would come and take them and put them in another home.
The number of children removed from their families because of substance abuse increased 13% in recent years, according to government statistics, driven in part by the opioid epidemic. More than 430,000 children are in foster care. Those numbers would be even higher if not for the grandparents who've stepped in. but they're often desperate for support.
We have grandchildren who, for the first 3 years of their lives, lived on soda pop, potato chips, and candy.
Bonnie Dunn from West Virginia State University has made it her life's mission to help them. Her Healthy Grandfamilies program meets once a week, bringing together grandparents and their grandkids like the Becketts for a free meal and a class on how to parent in the 21st century.
They don't know the rights that they have.
Lessons include social media, legal issues, and finding financial support.
They struggle with financial resources because most of these people are on Social Security.
The Becketts are doing their best to make ends meet.
As long as it takes, I'll be here for them.
Hoping one day the children will be reunited with their parents for good. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Nitro, West Virginia.
Now your family health. Can a vacation help you live longer? And the new alarming numbers on sexually transmitted diseases. Here are some of this week's top health stories. Cases of sexually transmitted diseases are at an all-time high. A new CDC report shows nearly 2.3 million cases of chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis were diagnosed in the U.S. just last year.
After decades of declining STDs, in recent years, we've been sliding backwards.
Most cases go undiagnosed, so they go untreated. These diseases can often lead to infertility, ectopic pregnancy, stillbirth, and an increased risk of HIV. Meanwhile, researchers in Europe are working on a neurotransmitter that can detect when an epileptic seizure starts and stop it from progressing. Using an electronic pump implanted on the brain, doctors were able to send a chemical to the source of the seizure to stop neurons from misfiring. Researchers are hopeful this technology could help patients diagnosed with brain tumors and Parkinson's disease. And do you want to live longer? A new study suggests you should take a vacation. A new study, Finland looked at more than 1,200 men over 40 years and found in one group, men who took less vacation time had a higher chance of dying. Researchers say vacation can be a good way to relieve stress. Although I tell you, Friday night football is not a good way to relieve stress. Speaking of football.
Yeah, speaking of football.
College football.
College football today, Matthew. Texas Tech playing both losing tonight. Big one, UTV playing tonight in Houston. As well as some more high school games. All that and more coming up next in sports.
Join us weekdays for Studio 7, sponsored by your Permian Basin Chevy dealers.
You're watching CBS 7 News at 10 with Jake Gaden in sports.
Back, and if I were you, I'd crack open a cold one and relax, because it's all we got for sports tonight is football. We start with Texas Tech. There's the new saying in Lubbock is, things have changed with that Red Raiders defense. Supposed to be sporting a brand new look this year, and in the opening weekend, that was on full display. Plus, who would start under center for the Red Raiders? Well, let's rock with it, right? Well, the question was answered real quick. McCain Carter was tabbed the starter, taking on an SEC opponent, Ole Miss in Houston at NRG Stadium today. Good to note, former Permian star Des Smith was ejected early in this one due to a targeting call. But we start with Tech on offense, down 7-0. DeLeon Ward rushes up the middle, 15 yards out. That's a touchdown, tie game at 7. Remember, Ward was arrested for theft last week and then was released due to not enough evidence in the case. Now, on the ensuing kickoff, the Rebels, Jalen Jones returns the kickoff. He's going to find a lane, and he's gone. 94 yards, and Ole Miss retakes the lead 14-7, and they lead after the first quarter. Next possession for Texas Tech. McCain Carter would go down with an ankle injury in that return, so it's the true freshman Alan Bowman coming in, and he's going to hit Jadion Hyde to the left for a 14-yard touchdown here. Going to make it 27-17 Ole Miss, but in the second half, the Rebels just put this one out of reach. We got Scotty Phillips here, rushes right up the middle. That's 65 yards to the house, 27-20 Ole Miss. Rock with the final score. Texas Tech losing today with a final of 47-27. So much for that Red Raider defense having such a good defense. Led up 546 total yards on 47 points. Not bad, though, by that true freshman Alan Bowman, throwing for over 273 yards through the air for 1 touchdown. All right, some good news now. Former Midland High wideout and now Nevada Wolfpack freshman All-American McCain Carter went off off in his first game last night, showing there's no sophomore slump whatsoever. Mannix had 3 touchdowns on 4 catches for 132 yards. Ridiculously incredible. The former Bulldog just continues to dazzle us with his speed. Nevada would end up cruising over Portland State in a final of 72-19. Now to Texas, trying to get revenge on Maryland. Cool moment before the game. Maryland players walk onto the coin flip with Jordan McNair's jersey, who died of a heat stroke on June 13th. On the first play, Maryland players with 10 players in the field, they'd be called for not enough players or a delay of game, and Texas would actually decline that. Okay, next, the first play right off the bat. Okay, Maryland star Jayshon Jones, he scored 3 touchdowns in 3 different ways in his first 3 touches as a college career. 1 running, 1 throwing, 1 receiving. But before the half, the Longhorns would pull it in 2. Sam Ehlinger passes to Colin Johnson to the left for the 22-yard touchdown. But once again, it's the Terps able to upset UT. Talon Fleet Davis rushes left, 17 yards. That's the touchdown. UT gonna lose again this year. Oh, that final score, they'd end up losing. No, trust me, they definitely did lose. Okay, let's look at TCU and Southern University. TCU losing today in a final of 55-7. Now, UTBB gonna be kicking off week 1 tonight. Possibly. Are they going to kick off week 1 of college football? Opponent last year in Lamar, they lost 72-6. Currently, right now, they are losing 13-2. That's in the second quarter right now. UTB was driving last time I checked. And surprisingly, we're not done with high school football. Last few games for week 1 of Texas high school football here in the Permian Basin are tonight. 2 6-man games at the Garden City Shootout. We're going to start with the first one, Rankin and Lubbock Homeschool Titans, right? Okay, 52-0 Rankin to start. Titans QB Stowers, he's going to drop back, hits the wide receiver Robinson for the 40-yard touchdown. 52-8 Rebels. Next Rankin possession, Justin Rodriguez gets the pitch, but guess what happens? Fumble Ruski, absolutely. And what would happen? Sawyer would recover the ball for Lubbock Titans, but nothing would come of it, so it doesn't matter. Rodriguez gets the pitch again. This time he keeps the ball, and he decides to hurdle a defender because that's what you do in 6-man football. Going to go all the way back on the other side of the field, finds the end zone. Trust me, that was a touchdown. Final score, Rankin would win 60-8 in a mercy rule. Okay, let's go to another game. Second game of the night, Lorraine taking on Grand Falls Royalty Cowboys. The Cowboys, Oscar Huertas getting the handoff, and you see you later, my friend. 50 yards to the house. This kid's going to be a beast for Grand Falls Royalty. They're up 6-0. Then the Cowboys rolling again. It's Huertas again, throwing it this time. The kid is a dual threat QB, everything basically in 6-man. That's what they do in 6-man. And looking for Jerry Lee Sedina, but it's off Sedina's hands, off the fingertips. That should have been a touchdown. The drive would stall, but Sedina would make up for it, though, on defense. He's going to be here with a sack. Look at it. Yes, maybe so. Oh, look at it. Good stuff right there. Rock with the final score. Grand Falls Royalty going to win in a mercy rule as well. Final of 57-12. All right, speaking of high school football, we have our Week 1 5th quarter player of the week nominees, and Cody Warner from Reagan County, Ben Gibbs from Midland Christian, Gunnar Adams from McCamey, and Zach Schneider from Oklahoma. If you want to vote for one of these fine athletes, go to our website and look for our Player of the Week tab on cbs7.com/sports, and we'll be doing that until Tuesday at 6 p.m. And finally, the Rockhounds have an opening day final series against the Frisco Rough Riders. All right, let's go to the first play of the game. Bottom one, Richie Martin on second. J.P. Sportman up the middle. Martin scores here. Easy stuff. Sportman under the center fielder's glove, so he's going to end up with a triple. Not bad. That's a stand-up triple, not bad. Next batter, Seth Brown, right into right field. Drops in right there. Sportman going to come in to score, make it 2-0. Brown with the double. Let's rock with the final score. Rockhounds would cruise in this one in the final of 14-5. They do it all again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Some major league scores. Let's rock with some of those babies. Houston over Los Angeles tonight, 7-3. Angels lose the series 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow is at 7 p.m. on ESPN. And Texas and Minnesota, this game just went final. The Rangers win 7-4. Series tied at 1. Game 3 tomorrow is at 3 p.m. And that is a lot of football today.
That is a lot of football. Football yesterday, too, Friday Night Lights.
And it's still not going to end, Matthew, just week 1 of the 12 weeks, basically.
Alrighty, Jake, thank you very much. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Make it a great evening.
The CBS 7 mobile news units are sponsored by Drug Screen Compliance, your source for background checks and pre-employment drug testing.